Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next live, as promised. So like I said before, I've been running these lives once a week on average. I usually try to do them on Sundays because I feel like it gives everybody the opportunity to join. But yeah, so per usual, I will just wait a minute or two to give people the ability to enter the room. As you enter the room, please let me know who you are, where you're from. I love to interact with people in the comments box, so let me know where you're from. Let's see, Alyssa. Hello, how are you? Thank you for joining the live. Also, let me know if this is your first time on the live or if you've been on lives before, all that fun stuff. I love to have that kind of information. It gives me an idea as to how many new people are joining or, how many regulars I have on here. PA, nice. Hi, Kathy from Toronto. Dora from Saudi Arabia, that's amazing. Please don't mind me. I'm going to sip on my coffee. Katrina, hello, how's it going? First time, well, welcome to the live. Da, 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 da. So as I mentioned before, as you enter the room, please let me know who you are, where you're from, all that fun stuff. Usually so previously with my lives, I would do I would cover specific subjects, topics, all of those things. Then I would reserve some time at the end of the live for any questions that you guys may have. So I would spend some time answering them. I've kind of changed the structure a little bit. So I usually do like a specific subject twice a month, and then I do just a live question and answer twice a month. And usually the question and answers are towards the end of the month. However, I will reserve some time at the end of this live to answer any questions. I don't know how many I'll be able to get through, but I'll answer as many as I possibly can. And yeah, so obviously based on the title of the video, you guys probably got the information. I'm hoping that you did. Maybe you guys got the email. Maybe you guys saw it pop up on the YouTube channel. Actually, could you guys let me know how you guys found out about the live? Did you guys find out via email if you are a subscriber? Did you find out on the actual YouTube channel? Did you get a notification? Just so I have a general idea as to how you guys are getting the information. Let's see. Eileen, good to see you. Let's see. Annalyn, hello from the Philippines. I am good. How are you? First timer, Christina from South Carolina. Hello, hello. Margot from Michigan. Hello, Christina. So you got email. Okay, perfect. And then Cindy, you got a YouTube notification, email, YouTube notification. Perfect. Okay, good. This gives me a good idea as to how you guys are getting the information. All right, so let's jump right into it since we have some limited time here to get through everything. So obviously, if you are on this live, it's because you saw the subject matter and it is about the blame game and getting out of the blame game. So first and foremost, let me ask you guys, and I expect you guys to blow up the chat box and let me know how many of you have been in this situation before or are currently in this situation where you feel like you're just stuck in a blame game and you have no idea how to get the hell out of it. Let's see. Merlita from Los Angeles. Nice. I'm currently in Los Angeles as well. So yeah, how many of you guys are in the blame game or have been in the blame game? I will wait for answers. Da, da, da. Okay, so Katrina, you are in one now. Layla, what does that mean? So basically the blame game means when you and your partner just do not see eye to eye, and every conversation that you have turns into an argument, and usually one or the other person does not take accountability for their actions and just puts the blame or puts everything on the other person. Okay, so you believe you are stuck in it currently. Yes. Honestly, it can be breakup or together. Honestly, it depends. So I'm talking about it in the context of a relationship. So if you are actively in a relationship right now and you feel like you're in the blame game, but this also can apply to an ex or, friends or family members or whatever the case may be. Yes, currently. Okay, perfect. Alex, hello, Alex. We just had a conversation earlier. Good to see you, my man. Okay, so let's go through this. So thank you guys for giving me your answers. It looks like a lot of you guys are actually currently in this situation. So that being said, what is the blame game, right? Let's try to understand what that is. Most of the time, what I have come to find is that when people get stuck in a pattern of the blame game, it is because you aren't really getting to the root of the issue, right? And there can be multiple reasons for this. If you have been in a long-term relationship, if you are in a short-term relationships, there can be several variables that contribute to that, right? So maybe just general frustration and anger and resentment that has compounded over the years, an inability to effectively communicate and not be able to resolve conflict and issues. So you kind of just get used to not feeling heard or understood or feeling like things are getting worked out. So you kind of give up on the situation altogether. It creates a level of defensiveness. So every time your partner feels the need to express themselves or how they are feeling about a particular situation, you immediately get on the defensive or they get on the defensive because they are feeling attacked because they also do not feel understood. So if you really take a look at what's at the root usually of the blame game, it is not feeling understood. It's not feeling heard, right? And feeling like your partner is not investing the time and really getting to know you, your needs, and what you are truly saying. So, the first thing that I usually recommend when it comes to a blame game is take a step back. If you notice that every time you try to express yourself to your partner, they immediately get on the defensive, you have to ask yourself two questions. The first question is, how am I delivering the message? Do I have any parts or am I accountable in how my partner is reacting, right? Because communication is a two-way street. It's not just about expressing how you're feeling and expecting the other person to understand. There are multiple different layers to communication, right? So there's body language, there's meta message, there's many different things. So it's your tone, it's your pitch, it's your volume, it's the way in which you are expressing and communicating. So if you're sitting down and you're having a conversation with your partner and you're trying to tell them about how you're feeling and you're sitting there with your arms crossed and you're giving them that kind of eye, of course they're immediately going to get on the defensive because they're expecting to be attacked, right? Now vice versa, does your partner have the ability to understand, to read between the lines, right? Because most of the time when we're upset about something, it can be difficult to control your emotions. And does your partner understand that it's not necessarily a personal attack? It's more so just how you are feeling in the moment and to really understand and listen to the bigger picture here, as opposed to trying to pick apart all the little details of what you're trying to say. And this contributes to, or is contributed to by something that we also call listening blocks when it comes to communication. So a listening block is something that every person usually has and you may not fully be aware of. So for example, one of them may be you're already sitting there waiting for a particular word, a particular phrase, something that they have a tendency of repeating so that when they do deliver that, you can attach to it and attack. That's a listening block because you're not fully present for that conversation. You're anticipating and expecting the next thing so that you have your response already prepared and you can just launch the attack. So, what I tell people is the first step is to take a step back. If you are finding yourself in this situation over and over and over again, it's very important that you become hyper consciously aware of the situation as a whole. How are you contributing to the issue? How is your partner contributing to the issue? Have you tried to communicate in a different way? Have you tried to express yourself in a different way? And that's going to require some reflection, right? Maybe some journaling, maybe some audio recordings of yourself expressing the frustrations around the situation, so you actually are able to put yourself in more of an objective standpoint as opposed to a subjective standpoint, which is where all the feelings are coming from. That's number one. Number two is both people have to be willing to take accountability. And if you feel like your partner is not willing to take accountability for their actions, every single time you get into that situation where you start an argument or an argument ensues and you're kind of getting to that place where things get heated and you are doing everything correctly, right? You've practiced the communication. You've really tried to understand how you contribute to the situation. You're taking accountability for your actions and your partner is just not reciprocating. That is when you disengage. You disengage from the situation because you also have to, in a sense, and I hate to use this word, but it's true, train your partner to understand that you are not going to allow that behavior to continue. You are not going to allow them to speak to you in that way because you are showing up to the conversation with a level of respect that they are not giving to you. So you disengage, you pull away, you communicate. Hey, look, I'm not liking how this is going. I feel like I've taken accountability for my side. I feel like I'm trying to really sit down and understand what you're saying, but I'm not feeling like I'm receiving the same thing. So I'm going to step away from the conversation and maybe we can discuss this at another time. Sometimes walking away from a conversation is better than trying to pull it apart, resolve it in that moment. Because if you are at a heightened state if you're in a heightened state of emotion, you have a tendency of making irrational decisions. When we are highly emotional, we make irrational decisions. So you have to pull back from the situation. And then really just figuring out what's at the root of the issue, right? So here's a perfect example that I use with people all the time. If one of your pet peeves is that your partner leaves dishes in the sink and you come home and there's dishes in the sink and you lose your mind or vice versa, right? Is it really about the dishes, right? Is it truly about the dishes? Because most of the time, the dishes is a representation of something else that you are feeling deep down inside, right? A core feeling. The way in which you express that core feeling is a reactionary emotion. So anger, frustration, yelling, screaming, cussing your partner out, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, what's really at the root of the dishes is a feeling of lack of support, right? Of not being understood by your partner, not being respected by your partner. Because if you've asked them multiple times to not do that and they continue to do it, it feels like they do not prioritize you within the relationship. And because you do not feel prioritized within the relationship, you do not feel like your partner understands or respects you. And when that happens, you start to doubt, right? The relationship altogether and your partner's feelings for you. So it's about really getting to the root of the issues and being able to communicate that effectively. That can be really difficult to do if you have no idea how to start, right? Everybody needs a starting point when it comes to communication. And that is honestly, that's something that I specialize in. That's what I do. So for me as a coach, what I work with on people is communication, reattraction, and just mindset. Because mindset is a huge part of this process of relationships, right? So, if you're wanting to understand how to start to effectively communicate so you can get past this blame game situation, two options. One, I've created a product that is, if I'm tooting my own horn here, I think is pretty amazing and it's helped a lot of clients before. It's my communication training, and you can actually find that on the website in the product section. Or you can book a one-on-one coaching session. And usually I highly advise a one-on-one coaching session. And look, I'm not here to sell anything. It's particularly because everybody's situation is different. Every circumstance is different. So if you try to apply a blanket strategy to your situation and maybe it's not the right one to apply, it may end up harming you in the long run. So, having a session with the coach, I think, is really important, just so that you can really understand the intricacies of the situation and feel like you are being guided correctly. Again, the communication, I think, is a good place to start. So the two options, the communication training product, which I think is absolutely amazing and will absolutely change your perspective on how to communicate. There's the fundamentals of communication, how to resolve conflict, all of that fun stuff, or booking a one-on-one coaching session. If these are these are things that you want to do, I'm going to put that in the chat box at the end of the live, but it's just so that you guys have that in there. That being said, the last part to getting out of the blame game is just being consciously aware of the fact that you're falling into a blame game again and stopping. I know that seems really easy, right? Like it just seems so obvious, like just stop. But the truth of the matter is, it's true, right? If you bring conscious awareness to how you are communicating with your partner and you're realizing that you're falling into a blame game again, just stop If you find that you were the one that's contributing to, no, you did this, no, you did this, stop. And as hard as it may be in the beginning, the more you catch yourself and the more you correct the behavior, the easier it becomes. The more it becomes second nature to communicate a little bit more effectively, right, and productively, and not to fall into that cycle of blame. So understanding what's at the root of the issue, disengaging from any kind of negative conversation or behavior, and becoming consciously aware of the fact that you are stuck in a blame game and stopping. Those are the primary ones. I've actually done a few videos on the blame game. So if you guys want a little bit more detailed information as to how to stop that, you can visit the YouTube channel on happilycommitted.com or on With My Ex Again, and you should see an option there for playlist. And I should come up there as one of the coaches, and you can take a look at any of the blame game videos that I've done specifically. That being said, and guys, sorry if I speak really fast. I am actually, I'm Cuban, so I have a tendency of talking really fast and using my hands a lot. So if at any point you feel like I'm blowing through this stuff really quickly, feel free to send a message and say, hey, can you slow down or can you reiterate? Most of the time, I may not realize that I'm talking that fast. Maybe something for me to become more consciously aware of. So what I want to do is I want to take a few minutes to take a look at some of the questions that you guys may have asked. And I will absolutely try to answer some of those. But let me do this. Let me put in, I'm going to put my email, my personal email, my coaching email. So if you guys have any questions that you feel like you need answered, you can reach out to me using this email. I'm usually pretty good at responding to my emails very quickly. So, and if you feel like you just need help booking a coaching session or you have questions about the product, happy to answer those for you. Coming at you right now. Okay, so that is there. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to attach the link for coaching in the chat box as well, so that you guys have that. Give me 1 second, guys. Since we are live, sometimes, you know, there's some things I have to take care of in real time. So I apologize for pausing, but I want to give you guys the information that you need in order to book the session. So I'm going to link here for you guys the 30-minute session, which is usually a sufficient amount of time to really kind of understand the general situation and provide you with some tailored strategies or plans or whatever the case may be. So let me put this in here for you guys. I do offer alternative packages outside of what you see online. So if you are inquiring about, you know, discounted coaching sessions or anything like that, make sure that you shoot me an email at my personal coaching email that I put in the chat box. Okay, so let's go back and see if there are any questions that I can answer. If I skip your question or if I don't see your question, don't get upset. There's a lot of questions that come up on the chat box. I try to answer them in the order in which they came. But again, I also offer the question and answer lives at the end of the month. So there will be 2 of those. So if you feel like you didn't get your question answered, you have 2 options. 1, you can email me personally so we can set up a coaching session, or B, you can wait for that live as well. Let's see. Alex, should you mention to your ex that you're working with a coach on your communication? I don't see anything wrong with that. Depending on the situation, obviously, I think it could actually help you because it shows your ex or your partner that you are putting in an effort to really trying to change previous patterns of behavior. You've recognized them, you are consciously aware of them, you know that you need to work on them. And if it's something that you have struggled with in the past, you've basically recruited somebody or hired somebody to help you with that communication in order to make the relationship better. So I don't think it can harm you. I think it can help you. Just don't overly communicate everything that you're doing, right? So if you're constantly letting your ex know about all the progress that you're making, all the things that you're doing to your work on yourself, it just kind of feels like you're in this show and tell type situation, and you don't want to overshare too much, right? It's more so about action than words. So, sure, let them know, but don't overly communicate. Let's see, Jason, I was always a defensive one and didn't compromise on most anything. And I see everything I was doing now, and I'm in the middle of no contact, but she blocked me on day 2. But a mutual friend told me she blocked me because she couldn't trust herself not to reach out. So communicating isn't an option yet, but I'll be sending a letter to her in another 35 days or so. It's been 33. Nope, don't apologize for the long message. That's okay. I think that's actually a pretty solid plan, to be honest with you. If the reason for why she blocked your phone number, or blocked you on social media, or all of those things, is because she's struggling not reaching out and communicating with you, as weird as that may sound, that is a good thing, because you can utilize that as leverage, right? Obviously not in a manipulative type of way. It's just knowing that there is a level of care and love there where she is having trouble disconnecting from the situation. That being said, if you try to push too much, or if you try to open up the lines of communication too early, she may feel like you are not respecting her boundaries, and therefore not feel validated at the decision that she made. And then that may actually shoot you in the foot. So the decision to take a step back and to not try and push, and to wait another 35 days or so to send a letter, I think is a really good idea. Let's see. So coaching call, how long do we need to wait for a coaching call once I book it? I'm in Mexico now and would like to chat today or tomorrow. So usually the way the bookings work is that once you book a coaching session, the coach will receive confirmation of that booking, and then we will reach out to you directly. We usually reach out to you within 24 to 48 hours to confirm the booking and to set up the first coaching session. But also keep in mind, we usually are booked up throughout the week. So I would say give it anywhere between 3 to 5 days for your actual session. If you would like a coaching session that day or within 24 to 48 hours, we offer an option online called an emergency coaching session. It's a little bit more expensive because obviously it's the same day, or sorry, within 24 hours. So coaches will have a tendency of having to rearrange their schedule a little bit just to be able to accommodate that. So keep that in mind. If you'd like to do the emergency coaching session and talk to somebody within 24 hours, that's a good option for you. Let's see. Bo, my ex wants to be friends. He broke up with me 2 months ago after a 2-year relationship and says he has a special place for me and wants to stay friends. I am in no contact rule now. What should I do? So there is a lot of things that I would actually ask about that situation. The reason why I always recommend a one-on-one coaching session is because it's very important to know the details and the particulars of the situation so that I can give you a solid recommendation. So what are the reasons for the breakup? Was there any communication prior to the breakup that this was a potential? Were there issues within the relationship that were happening, right? So communication, intimacy, infidelity, all those types of things. And what I can tell you based on what you've told me is you have to really gauge where you're at emotionally and mentally. So if you do not feel like you are in a good place or good headspace to be able to navigate trying to reattract your ex at this point, then the no contact is a good way to start. Even though they have said to you, I want to be friends, I want to keep in contact, you have to keep in mind, they're the ones that made the decision to walk away from the relationship. And therefore, it is likely, if they are an empathetic person, there is some guilt that is attached to that decision. So when there is guilt that's attached to a decision like that, they want to remain in contact to make sure that you are doing okay with the decision that they made. So it validates for them that they actually made the right decision for themselves. It's complicated, it's tricky, but that's usually the reason why. That doesn't mean that they don't care for you, that they don't have love for you, or whatever the case may be. It's just they are not feeling it at that time and have made the decision to walk away from the relationship. However, they want to make sure that you are doing okay. If that is not working for you, it is absolutely okay to step away. The one thing that I will say, though, is it is important that you communicate with your ex the reasons for why you are stepping away. I am not in a space right now to be able to handle a friendship. I need to be able to process everything and heal. So for those reasons, I'm going to be taking a step back. I never really recommend just ghosting somebody straight off the bat, But again, that's circumstantial and it depends on the situation and the reasons for the breakup. Let's see. Layla, how quickly can you schedule a call once booking? I think I answered that earlier. Was in no con. So Bob was in no contact for 3 months. Then she reached out. Then she blamed, and she went back into no contact. Difficult situation. That also just reiterates for me that she was not in a mental and emotional place to be able to try to continue in a relationship or try to rebuild anything. So in that circumstance, it's kind of out of your control. You know, as long as you are showing up, being consistent, being respectful, empathetic, not really, you know, engaging in kind of negative behaviors, and she is the one that's doing that, or your ex is the one that's doing that, they have to kind of figure their stuff out. And it's just an indication for you that because they are not ready for the relationship, it's not a good time to try to jump back into it, because that's going to be an uphill battle the entire time. Let's see. Bob C, how much is a coaching session? And this will actually be the last question that I'm able to answer because of timing. So how much is a coaching session? So coaching sessions, usually it depends. If you go on our website, we have a la carte options, right? So the 30-minute session is $277. The hour session is $497. And then the emergency session is $597. That being said, the calls are very in-depth. They're very detailed. We get as much information as we can, and we offer you a specific strategy and a plan moving forward for your situation, so you feel like you have something that you can action immediately. We do offer, depending on each coach, right? So for myself, like I said, I offer alternative packages outside of what you see on the website, because I understand, you know, some people are budget conscious, there are certain financial restrictions, all of that. So I try to work with people as much as I possibly can. Every once in a while, we run a promotion where there's a discounted coaching session, a 30-minute coaching session. Sometimes it's with me, sometimes it's with Coach Abby. So if you are a subscriber or if you're on the list, you should be receiving those emails for when those come through. I hope that answers your question. That's actually all the time that I have right now, but let me do this for you guys. I'm going to link in here the option for the coaching session. So make sure you guys use that link or click on that link to book a session. Let's see. Okay, so I actually linked it in here a few times. So again, if you guys have any specific questions, if you have any questions about booking, all those things, you can email me at my personal coaching email, which is the one that I provided for you guys in the chat box. So go ahead and scroll up and see it there if you missed it. And I've also put in here a link to a 30-minute strategy coaching session, which I think is an initial good start. And it should link you directly to the website and the booking page so that you guys can book your session. It's always a pleasure seeing you guys. Thank you guys, whoever, you know, if this is your first time joining, if you are somebody who joins on a weekly basis. I love having these interactions with you guys, and I'm looking forward to the next live. Be on the lookout, guys. That one is the live question and answer. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys on there. I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys have a good Sunday.